Good morning, Fit Fam. I'm here in the house that I grew up in. First thing in the morning, I'm about to make my first meal of the day. So I'm gonna be just walking you through an entire day of eating, and it is also leg day. We're gonna be doing some quads, glutes, and calves. So I'm gonna take you along and walk you through my workout as well. So gonna give you a little update on the way that I'm eating. So I'm showing you myself here, no makeup, which is a little bit vulnerable, but as you can see, I've kind of been struggling with some acne, some hormonal acne. So I'm getting it all checked out. I'm gonna go get some blood work done, and I'm looking into kind of like the natural functional health side of things. But as part of the protocols, I have decided to do no eggs, no dairy, and no gluten. So I've been doing this just for a couple of days, and I actually do feel like my skin has improved a little bit. I'm still getting a few pimples here and there, and I just have kind of a few scars, but this was me even just a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, it was really not looking too good. So I'm thinking it's already looking a little bit better. But yeah, it's been definitely a bit of a switch, because if you followed how I used to eat before, I was definitely eating a lot of eggs and a lot of dairy. So I've definitely really had to make some adjustments, because I still have to eat the same macros. I'm still eating a lot to grow these legs and glutes, which you can see here I have been really successful doing over these past couple of months. So I'm still eating 2,600 calories a day, 140 grams of protein, 335 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat. So just because I'm eating that way doesn't mean that you should be. I'm just sharing it here so you know how much I'm eating. But if you're curious to know how much you should be eating, then make sure to check out this video, because I walk you through how to calculate your macros for your body and your goals. All right, so we're gonna get into the first meal of the day, and I'm gonna walk you through everything else that we're doing. Okay, so one of the very random meals that I have come up with since doing this whole elimination diet. Okay, well, first off, I've been eating a ton of rice cakes because no gluten, and I still need a lot of carbs. So this is an easy way to do that. And then on the rice cakes, this is weird, I know, but I've been putting hummus and prosciutto. Seems weird, but it actually tastes really good. Give it a try. But essentially, I've been trying to do a little bit more lunch meats like this, just because I still need to eat a ton of protein, and I don't want to be eating just like whole food meats all day long. So this is a little hack I've come up with. So we're gonna do that with banana with peanut butter for meal number one. Okay, just banana with prosciutto, but a little bit of salami instead, so that's what we're gonna do. And as part of the no dairy, for my coffee, doing a little bit of soy milk, and then this like creamer, which has a little bit of a sweetener for the coffee. All right, fam, it is now 11 a.m. So moving on to the second meal of the day. So I have these really lovely gluten-free bagels from this place in Toronto. I'm in Windsor, Ontario. That's my hometown, right across the border from Detroit. So if you're not in Canada, you might not be able to get these, but they're super good. And then I'm gonna do some turkey breast. Like I said, I'm trying to do the lunch meats just to make it an easy protein to still get those high numbers. And then once again, I'm gonna put the hummus on, because something to just give it a nice fatty flavor that's not gonna be dairy or egg based. Then just gonna add a little mustard and some spinach to get in some greens. So this is gonna be really easy, really tasty, high carb, high protein. So let's make it. Okay, so here we are, my little turkey gluten-free bagel. So I'm gonna eat this, probably work just a tiny bit more. Then we're gonna go smash some legs, and I'll be taking it along with me. My sister also brought me back an oat milk iced Americano from Starbucks. So I'm now rocking 3 drinks. Got my actual regular water, sparkling water, and coffee while I do a little bit more work. All right, I just remembered that I actually have 3 more meals I need to eat. So I'm actually gonna eat 1 more of them. Then I'm gonna go train, so I have all of the fuel to really crush these legs. So doing another one of these gluten-free bagels, and I'm just gonna add on some peanut butter and banana. So really simple, and then we're gonna hit the gym. Alright, so we're gonna carb up with this delicious peanut butter bagel, and then we're gonna have all the fuel to train these legs. Alright fam, let's get into this leg, glute, and calf workout. We're especially focusing on our quads today. So we're just gonna do a really quick little warm up with our fabric resistance band just to get everything engaged. Nothing special here, just kind of squat, walk around with the band on. You're gonna feel everything getting activated. And then we are going to be going right into some pre-exhaust exercises, which I've talked about in the last few videos. This is a new technique I have been doing with my coach, which is where we start off with two kind of easier exercises that are targeting the muscle we want to focus on that day. So by the time we get to the really difficult, heavy compound exercises, the muscle we wish to target is already going to be really, really activated and going to respond super well to that exercise. So we're starting off with some leg extensions. So I'm going for 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps, and I'm doing a nice pause and hold at the top of the range of motion. So just adding in that 1 extra second where you pause and flex the quads at the top is really going to annihilate them. And by the time you're getting to your 15th rep, they're absolutely going to be on fire and it's going to feel great. You're going to see the results from it. And then just quick before our next pre-exhaust exercise, I just wanted to do a quick outfit check. So these are the new Alphalete Amplify 4.5 inch shorts. I just got them in a whole bunch of colors and I absolutely love them. I just feel like they fit your body really, really well. They're very comfortable, very flattering. So if you're looking for shorts that you can feel really comfortable in the gym, I highly recommend these. All right, moving into the second pre-exhaust exercise, we are doing some sissy squats. So hopefully your gym has this little contraption, which is where we are literally just squatting down with our body weight. But because of the way we have our feet tucked in, we're going to be really isolating the quads here. So I actually don't do any weight at all for this exercise because you don't need it. Literally just going really slow, really controlled with your own body weight is going to absolutely annihilate the quads. So I was going for about 12 to 15 reps here as well for 3 sets. And by the end, my quads were so burning, so on fire. And I knew that that meant we are ready to get into our heavy compound exercise for the quads. So that is the third exercise here. We are doing some hack squats. I am literally obsessed with hack squats. It is just the best exercise you can do to really, really isolate and really overload your quads, because remember that your muscles do need to get a good bit of overload, meaning they need to really be challenged, really be strengthened if you want to see that muscle grow. All right, so here I am once again doing 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps, and my legs are absolutely toast by this point because we already did the pre-exhaust. So quads are just absolutely on fire. And same thing here. We're not just trying to go as heavy as humanly possible. We're really trying to go controlled and really focus on muscle-mind connection, really good quality form, time under tension, hitting the muscle that we want to hit, which is the quads here. And then here's a little tip for any exercise you do to make it way more effective is don't let yourself completely release the tension. So for example, I'm not coming all the way to the bottom and then letting the machine just like completely go slack. I'm coming all the way down on these hack squats, but not letting the machine go slack. I'm keeping the constant tension, and then I'm coming all the way up, and I'm actually not coming up to where I'm going to fully lock out my knee. So I go right into the next rep, and this is going to allow you to keep that constant tension. All right, so the quads are absolutely destroyed at this point. So now we're going to move on to the other muscle groups. So next up, we have some reverse hypers. I really, really love this exercise. And again, hopefully your gym has this set up because it's a little bit different than the 45-degree reverse hyper. However, if that's all you have in your gym, you can definitely do that one. It's going to be pretty similar, but I find since this one is completely parallel to the ground, it actually hits the glutes and especially kind of that glute ham tie-in, that little bit right underneath your butt really, really nicely. So you're just going to get in position. And again, I'm not using any weight here because you don't actually need to if you're going really slow, really controlled. And again, we're going for higher reps. So I'm doing 3 sets of 20 reps here, coming all the way up. And I'm really thinking that my glutes are what is lifting up my body weight here. So bringing up my torso, not thinking that, okay, I'm lifting up at the torso, thinking that I'm lifting up from the glutes, coming all the way up, squeezing and holding for 1 second at the top before lowering down. All right, and then we just have our final exercise to target some calves. Nothing too exciting here. When it comes to training calves, it's never really that interesting, but you do just want to sprinkle in a little isolation for them so that you can have a complete developed leg and not be neglecting that lower half. So we're doing 12 to 15 reps of standing calf raises, and then that is the workout. Let's go home and make sure we get in some food to fuel our gains. Okay, that was a great leg day, and I know I'm about to get insanely hungry because I would have just burned up a ton of carbs, ton of calories. So we got 2 more meals today. The next one is going to be some chocolate chip vegan cookies because obviously you can't have any eggs, can't have any dairy at the moment, but these are actually so good. So I was originally doing this as a pancake, and then yesterday I was like, let me see how these actually turn out if I bake them in the oven as cookies, and they were so good. So I'm gonna show you how I make them, and hopefully you'll try them too because they are delish and high protein. First things first, get some parchment paper on a tray. I'm gonna put in oat flour, so 80 grams of this. If you don't like oat flour, if you just wanna use something else, you can use any kind of flour though. A teaspoon of baking powder, and then this is the vegan protein powder I'm using at the moment. So I'm gonna do 30 grams of this, which is about 1 scoop. Then I got chocolate chips that are dairy free, of course, and I'm doing 15 grams, so that's like 1 tablespoon. Okay, and then I'm gonna do about 80 grams of some soy milk, 15 grams of some natural peanut butter there, and lastly, a tablespoon, 15 grams of maple syrup.
Okay, so we're gonna bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for, try to sneak in the camera here, for 15 minutes, and they're gonna turn out great. All right, cookies are ready.
There are the cookies. Changed out of my gym clothes. I'm actually not that hungry because I had 2 bagels pretty much right before going to train, so I think that's still tying me over. But nonetheless, still got to get all these calories in. So this is a really fun way that you actually get to have cookies as a post-workout when you know what you're doing, how to fuel your body, and eating lots. Okay, so I actually am still a little hungry even after all those cookies. That's how you know it was a leg day. So I'm just gonna have this apple, and then it's just dinner, and that's all the food today. All right, fam, hungry again, so time to make the last meal of the day, and then we've consumed all 2,600 of these calories. So I already have a little bit of cooked quinoa, so that's gonna be my carb for this meal. Then I have some flank steak, so I'm just gonna cut that up for my protein. Really, really yummy, and it already has a little bit of fat, so you don't even need any oil to cook it in. It tastes so good. And then because I'm lazy, I just like to use some frozen veggies, so I can get in my greens, get in the different colors, and get the fiber. Then I'm just gonna mix together a few things to make a honey mustard dressing. So maybe sounds kind of weird, but give it a try. It tastes really good. So let's make this. All right, so final meal of the day. It looks kind of not anything that special, but it tastes really good. And gets my macros, gets all the protein, all the carbs. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video there. Thanks so much for checking this out. I hope it gave you some good ideas of some great leg day exercises and some really easy, high protein, high carb meals to get fit year round for life. So if there's anything else you wanna see from me, comment down below. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.